Voting is a cornerstone of American democracy. However, there have been racist people who have made an active effort to ensure that all people do not have these rights in America since its inception. In 1870, the 15th Amendment said that the right to vote could not be hindered by race or previous conditions of servitude. However, in 2016, we're still facing issues of voter suppression that disproportionately impact people of color and the poor. Some of the early ways that the vote was suppressed were through questionnaires, in which a person would be denied over any tiny error. People were tested with questions that were so obtuse that even a law professor would fail them. Simply expressing the desire to vote could lead to job loss, and even death. While voting was legal, the fear of repercussions served the purpose that the poll taxes did before. Poll taxes had to be paid before the day of the election, which meant a day off of work extra other than election day that many poor people and black people could not afford to take, keeping them away from casting their ballots. There were also literacy tests that played a major role in preventing black people from the ballot. The person administering the test would find ways to make it impossible to complete the task, like reading the text at an incomprehensible speed, so that even when black people were literate, it was made sure that they were not able to pass these tests and therefore get registered to vote. No white was ever denied registration because of inability to pass a literacy test. Democrats in the South even had white primaries where blacks were just completely excluded from even being able to vote at all. These tests were working as they were intended to. There were predominantly black counties in Alabama that were even blacker than Selma, and not a single black person was registered to vote. After Bloody Sunday, we began to see a change in voting rights in America. President Johnson called the Voting Rights Act the most powerful instrument devised for man for breaking down injustice. This bill helped to bring to fruition what the founding fathers spoke of in the Constitution for all Americans. However, it's beginning to break down once again. In 2008, with the election of Barack Obama, it marked a shift in American minds that people were not comfortable with, and that inclusion and equality were moving too fast for their pace. And there were policies enacted to ensure that the future would continue to mirror the past by passing new restrictive voting laws that disproportionately impacted black people. Recently, the Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act was eliminated. Most of the important parts of it were. This would mean so that states with a history of racial discrimination would no longer have to go through the Department of Justice to get approval on changing voting laws. This has led to a rash of early voting cuts, voter ID loss, felony disenfranchisement. I will expand upon all of those issues in my videos to come. People will now have to wait until they've been discriminated against and lost their ability to vote before they can go to the Department of Justice, rather than having it blocked preemptively. Which is why I suggest that all of Section 5 be reinstated and that there be affirmative right to vote in the United States, so that these discriminatory practices can no longer continue to exist in this country.